Then I did crack a joke. Then I did act like nothing was wrong. Did I go back and hang out? Yes, because I was stupid.
How's it going today, guys? Tophiachu is on a rampage right now. She's been streaming about every single day, every single night. There's so much speculation running around her right now, and she cannot stop exposing herself. There's a lot of serious stuff talked about in this video, a lot of crazy things that Tophiachu might be lying on. Who really knows? But she won't give any more details, and she chooses to just rage out at the viewers who ask her about it. If you want to know what I'm talking about, apparently a couple of days ago, maybe it was last week, Tophiachu and Studu were out driving around with the original person that was making the stalking allegations on Tophiachu, if you remember all the way back then. And as it turns out, Tophiachu was holding hands with her, hugging her, and as they stopped hugging, Tophiachu went in for another hug. Well, after that happened, Tophiachu is claiming a white Bowser situation occurred. And ever since then, she's been on a non-stop rampage, whether she's raging at the viewers, accusing that girl of more stuff, and nobody can really tell what's going on because Tophiachu's such an unreliable narrator. But the way it keeps on looking is that maybe Tophiachu isn't being quite honest, or that she's blowing things out of proportion. So hopefully we can figure out exactly what's going on by the end of this video, because there's a lot. And not only that, she 100% exposes she abandoned Mamachu. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it anymore. The people asked her to get a psych evaluation, asked her to stop streaming, basically the crutch of why everything went wrong with the Chu crew in the first place, and she just said, nope, I'm out of here, and left. But we got that and so much more in today's video. It's probably the most packed Tophiachu video in months. So let's go ahead and jump right into this. I'm not going to keep you guys waiting.
Birthday plans, I don't even know. I was trying to find a place to go with music. I look good. My eyes look red and puffy. I was just crying earlier and I freaked out. So I don't have Cash App, guys. I don't have Venmo. Well, I think I have Venmo, but I don't really use that. I have PayPal, and I'm not asking for money because I know people are going to be like, you're begging, and say, oh, no one's saying that. I'm just not doing too good. I'm going to try to decorate my cake. I have a design in mind, so I don't know. What I was going to say was I was trying to find a place. Well, there was something I wanted to go to, and then I found something else, but that you got to buy tickets, and I'm like, I'm not going to buy tickets just to go see that, so I don't want to spend money to go to get tickets for something that isn't really that good for my birthday. No, I can go live on TikTok. It's just that I don't want to deal with TikTok. And I'm just like, I don't want to pay just to see lowriders hop in the air and how high they can hop. That seems cool and whatnot. I don't want to go to an arcade because I don't have money for the arcade anyways. I wanted to go hear music and have a good time. And the only place I could think of, by the time that it opens, I won't be able to get down there, so I'll have to be back. So, because it's the library, but the library charges a $10 fee to get in, and I really don't want to go to a club. I just want to, the bar might be okay, but I just don't want to sit there and not get anything. I'm not going to a concert. I don't know what concert you're talking about. Well, some of the clubs charge a fee to get in. The library charges $10. I know because I was going to pay the $10 to get in one time, but well, I don't know. I was expecting to go, but then my mom's ID was expired, so I had to wait in the car with her. My brother went in. We were living in the car at the time, and so his friend wanted him to go be a wingman, and I'm not going to a concert. Someone said I had enough for a new outfit for a concert. I'm not going to a concert. That's what I just said. That made someone mad. And to me, that literally pissed me off because that sent me over the edge. Someone literally wrote a nasty comment and said, stop coming on the internet and saying everything. You're mad because I said I was. And then people have the nerve to respond and say, how convenient that you say that close to your birthday. Why should I have to struggle with that on my birthday? That is so crazy. Nothing that I said had anything to do with money. I shouldn't have to go through having to process that. That is a very sad thing to have to process. And in no way, shape, or form, when I said that, did I ask for money. Considering the fact, I could have just said, hey, it's my birthday, send money. I don't have to make up a story to say, hey, send me money on my birthday. I have done it before. People have sent me money to go to round 1 and enjoy myself with my family.
Ever since Tophiachu has started dating, her standards have really went through the roof. She's a distinguished Chu now. She wants a household and nothing less. She's not going to go to some stupid car show for her birthday. She's seen enough Chu cruisers. Studu, you need to man up and get the house. It's about time. Tophiachu is tired of living on the streets. And I think I'll talk about this real quick. Some people think Tophiachu is actually like in a tent right now. I'm not entirely sure about it, but there has been some evidence pointing in that direction, such as Tophiachu streaming very late at night, and there's obviously traffic whizzing by her. And as Tophiachu has told us, if she's not in her shelter by a certain time, she's not allowed back and she might be kicked out. So that's got some people questioning. Now, I'm not entirely sure. We did hear that Tophiachu had another small stint of living in a car. She brought it up briefly, I believe in my last video about her, that she said she was living in a car for a month. So maybe she is getting in trouble, maybe she was over exaggerating, who really knows? It's Tophiachu. She's a very unreliable narrator, which stems a lot of the problems this video is bringing up. I mean, it really seems like Tophiachu is losing her mind each and every time I check in on her. It just keeps getting worse. And I wouldn't be the guy saying that the claim Tophiachu made is false just because it's Tophiachu. I listened, I reasoned with it, and I was like, man, it really sounds like Tophiachu just got grazed. The stuff her and that girl were doing, going in for multiple hugs, it doesn't seem like she pulled a white Bowser, right? Where Tophiachu was just standing there and the white Bowser's just holding on. Well, I guess it's not the white Bowser in this situation. I'm just hoping to give you guys a nice idea of what I think Tophiachu is claiming happened versus the reality. It's the girl was exiting away from the hug and there was a graze, and Tophiachu kind of blew it out of proportion. The story keeps changing, the relationship dynamics keep changing, and it's an entire mess. I mean, Tophiachu just cannot stop bringing this up, and it's just not looking better for her. Every time she tells the story, it looks a little bit worse. And then her birthday rolls around, so people are obviously going to accuse Tophiachu of grifting off of her birthday, no matter what. That was going to happen, and Tophiachu was going to do it. It doesn't really matter about the claims you made a couple days ago, and you're still raging about to this day. People are going to call you out for it because you kind of were. You were it's my birthday, I need money, and then you were dry begging in a sense. DSP does this really well. Tophiachu, she's really bad at it. She'll just be sitting there I'm so broke, I've got no money, I can't go to a card show, those are stupid now. I got way better standards. I want to go to a library or maybe a bar. It's well, Tophiachu, I guess the library is a more reasonable thing because if you just go to a bar, no drinks whatsoever, no friends, you're probably going to have a terrible time. Nobody is really going to want to approach Tophiachu as she's sitting there moping in the corner for absolutely no reason, questioning the bartender why he's allowed to get tipped and she's not. She's I can't even get a GoFundMe, and you're just allowed to serve drinks? You're putting bad into this world. I do nothing but good.
My brother went to Top Golfers. He paid for Top Golf, and then I took my family to round 1. And then I just said, hey, it's my birthday, send money. I don't have to make up a fake story just to tell people, hey, it's my birthday. That is so stupid for people to say, how convenient that you make this up for money. No, all I need to say is my birthday's tomorrow, send me money. You don't know how dangerous the situation has gotten. It's escalated. And I had made some realizations of some things that were not being told to me that was not truthful. And that also is what affected what happened today. Because it is so messed up to look someone in the face and actively lie. No, actually not reporting it does not make it worse, because that's what makes people not report something. I don't go, and here's the thing that annoys me. If you're going to go online and say something, don't delete it. Why are you deleting stuff? You say stuff online, then you delete it. I hate people that don't stand by things, or they go on these rage rants and then click delete. It's so annoying. Everything I post is up until it expires. I will never understand that. And then I'll see troll pages or haters be shady, and then they take their stuff down. You're going crazy. You're getting no likes. Some of these people literally are talking to nobody. People don't take accountability for the stuff that they do when they leave a path of destruction for someone. They have to fix their mental, because it's mental mind games that I'm tired of having played with. I'm tired of someone acting like they care when they don't. They never did. Why come into someone's life if you're only going to hurt them and make their life more worse than what it really is? My life is not a movie or a TV show or a soap opera. It's not something to be made a joke of.
You guys just don't understand. Tophiachu has it like that. If she ever needs money, she's got a couple people on the back line who's willing to toss it her way. It's her birthday, for God's sake. Don't you understand that back in the day when they had an entire apartment, Chu, when Tophiachu was earning better money off TikTok and had, I guess, a couple more loyal viewers, whenever she said jump, they'd throw some Benjamins her way. Alright? If she wanted to play golf, sit there and mope around, just like now, yeah, she's gonna do it. You guys don't understand. Tophiachu must live it up at all costs. She lives a very dangerous lifestyle. But all jokes aside, it is so funny when Tophiachu has a drama that she doesn't want to tell people about. She acts so secretive about it. She just wants people to pretend that she's jumped off the porch a long time ago and is a super dangerous person. But no, it's just you acting strange, you not really knowing how social situations work, and you embarrass yourself, and then you get yourself into messes. Like whenever you hear Tophiachu crying on stream anymore, it may start off about Brother Chu, it may start off with her mentioning Mama Chu, but the reality is she's crying about something entirely different, and she's just psyching herself up to get sadder. Like she's really upset about the Studu situation, the other girl that Tophiachu says did something to her, the one she's claiming did something to her, so she can sympathy bait and potentially make the person that she's dating a little bit sad, so they might keep talking to her.
My bad. I always fall for it every time because it's a joke. Ha ha ha, let's all laugh. I could go fill that void. I could go do what everyone else does when they're hurting and filling a void and they're heartbroken. Go sleep with someone. It's easy to do, but I don't want to do that. That's all anybody ever wants in this generation. Whether it be in my generation, in my age, or older, that's all anybody ever cares about. Nobody cares anymore about not even dating, but literally being with someone to marry them. To be honest, I don't do things to hurt people. If I take time out of my day, my precious time out of my day, my personal time, to do something with you, I really mean it. Spending my time, which I'm not going to say, oh, in certain situations, my time that I spent was wasted, because it was never wasted. Even if it was online, whatever the case may be, it's so messed up. Nobody wants to be truthful anymore. No one wants to say. No one wants to have conversations. Nobody literally wants to learn how to have a conversation. It's all about communicating to someone instead of living a facade. And I can't even talk about it because when I mention something, nobody knows what it's like, because people think they have access to someone, that they can just grab someone anytime they feel like it. Oh, well, that's mine. I can just grab it whenever I want to. I literally went somewhere and this dude did not even ask and just grabbed me for a photo. And then afterwards says, "Was you okay with that?" And I'm like, no. Clearly trying to hit on me, asking me for my number. I didn't reciprocate, got up and left. And I'm like, what is wrong with society? And I do feel like I should be angry and be heartless, but I can't be that heartless person that snaps and says everything that I've been dealing with on the internet and not care, because I do have to care. At some point, I might be able to share some things, But to be honest with you, I could have snapped like I have in the past and said, well, you know what, go online and say what, and not say anything rude, because I'm not about attacking someone and going back and forth.
I told you guys, Tophiachu literally sounds like a middle schooler going through her first breakup, but it's literally her in her 30s talking to some 50-year-old woman or Studu, one or the other. I think it's a good mix of both, but that's just my speculation. Tophiachu claims her and Studu never had any romantic intentions. The park pictures claim otherwise, but, you know, I'll leave it there. Like, when it comes to her talking about communication, it's like, yeah, that is the key to almost everything. Just tell people what you really mean, and you'll probably get by a lot easier in life. But what Tophiachu is missing right now in this equation, you can keep that to yourself, you know? If you really want to have, like, a reasonable relationship with somebody, especially in your shoes, it would be far easier to keep this off of the internet. A reasonable conversation doesn't start with you calling them out on the internet like a Facebook warrior, and then they get the gusto to come argue with you in the comment section, and that's where you have your conversation, I guess. So it doesn't really work that way. People are going to distance themselves from you. That's the route you're going to take. And I really want to give Tophiachu the benefit of the doubt. I really do on her claims. I absolutely did when I first started covering this on live stream, but it looks really rough when Tophiachu is obviously crying about the girl with the age gap. I assume, because she's recently started calling Studu S on stream and Studu, so I believe she would just literally bring up her name if, like, that's who she was talking about. Like, she still wants contact with this woman. Things didn't quite work out, and things got blown out of proportion, as Tophiachu typically does. Oh, and I don't want you guys to get confused about the guy hugging her situation. Some people thought that was her mixing up the stories. I don't believe that was. I think she was referencing something else, or probably making up something else. Now, it does sound a little strange because she brings up being at a concert later on. Well, Tophiachu doesn't get out very much, so you could kind of line it up as to her saying that's around the time it happened, but she was making other claims like a couple days prior, so just in case anybody was confused. But before we move on, I do have to say real quick, Tophiachu, as we mentioned earlier, she literally loves going back and forth online until it doesn't go her way, and then she gets to cry and complain. Her saying that she hates that stuff is absolutely mind-blowing. I don't know what your content is otherwise. And when you say you don't wish anything terrible on people's name, that is an absolute lie. I remember like 4 or 5 days before the Brotherchu incident where you were talking reckless about people's family, like wishing terrible things upon them. Like, you don't even know these people, just wishing it on strangers. And then after the incident, you just kind of backtracked on all of that. I was like, no, it just never happened, but it did.
People know where most of the homeless people hang out, under the bridge. So it's not that hard to find someone. Hello. I'm outside. Do you hear the outside? Do you hear the birds? Do you hear the cars? If I was anywhere, I'm not even anywhere. Obviously, if I'm told to stop doing something, that means I'm not there. Because if I was there, I wouldn't even be going live. You hear the outside. Well, no, the war zone, the shelter that I was at did not tell me to stop going live. So the shelter I was at with my mom literally assumed I was going live on property when I wasn't. I was leaving to go live. Not a single place told me to stop going live. The shelter that I was at before didn't say to stop going live. They literally said that I wasn't allowed to go live on property, which I was not. But it was a whole thing. No, they didn't. No place told me to stop going live. All they said was that I'm not allowed to go live literally on property. No, not go live on property. I could go live anywhere I want. That's why I would leave to go live. Hello, why do you think I went live at the park? Common sense. No, that they didn't say to stop going live. They can't control what I do when I leave the property. No place can control me. I'm a grown adult. I'm going to be 32. No place could control me, because if some place told me to stop, then I would have left. I would leave. You just love to hold on to things. You just love to say, oh, they told you to stop going live. You're not getting me off the internet, no matter how hard you try. I'm not leaving. I'm not going anywhere. Get over it. Call the ambulance. Go cry. Boo-hoo.
The beginning clip was so insane. If Tophiachu been like, I never went live on the last homeless shelter's property, that is so nuts, because that was literally all Tophiachu did. That's where the start of Music Chew started. She would just sit on the couch, lounge around 24/7, and listen to music and watch TV. Now yes, in that shelter, about half of the time she would go sit at Sonic or McDonald's, one or the other, until she couldn't and go back there. But the other half of the time, she certainly was. There was even a poor woman who accidentally doxed her social on Tophiachu's live stream. Like, she was doing these people dirty, never leaving the common room. Like, just imagine that. There was literally a lady sitting there. There might be children in that place. You know, there's other adults who probably want to watch TV. Thank God they probably have phones. They might have their life together a little bit more than Toph. But still, yeah, there's just someone just lounging around, watching Disney Channel, super old movies all day, listening to music loud as possible. Even if she wasn't live streaming, she was a nuisance. And she does that in her current shelter. It's like she cannot understand how bad she gets on everybody's nerves, or just how much of an inconvenience she actually is. But I guess if anyone says anything about it to her, which kind of is convenient that she just up and left around the time they was yelling at her about it, telling her she needs to go to a psychiatrist. She'll bring that up later. Yeah, that happened. That she up and left Mama Chew sounds kind of fishy to me, that, you know, she'll just run whenever somebody tells her what to do. But really, that's just the problem with Tophiachu. You cannot tell her what to do, and she has no idea how to run a business. She's not successful on her own, so she is a person who probably needs to be told what to do, when to do, how to do it. We've seen her and Mama Chew operate. If you've been on my live streams before, it's a tragedy to say the least. I mean, her problems basically sum up to this: she repeats the same thing over and over and over again, expecting a different result, and we all know what that means. The true definition of that, just insane.
I'm gonna call her S, but I don't like to refer to her as Studu. Was like, oh, well, why don't we go take her some tacos? Whatever. So we go to her place. She's showing her around, whatever. And I'm gonna tell you this because there was some messages, which is, when this happened, it really confused me, but I'm not even gonna get into those messages. That's private, so I'm not even gonna get into those messages. But anyways, she's showing S around, whatever, her new place. I'm not even doxing. I'm not even going to say the place, so I just have to preference that because I don't want to get an angry message be like, you better not. I'm not. Okay? So anyways, S. Well, I don't like to say Studu, and I don't want to use her real name, so I don't know what letter to use other than S. So anyways, we are literally... So basically, this is the whole situation, the whole thing. So as S is walking ahead of us, the other person puts their hand behind them for me to hold their hand. So it was like, due to some messages, I was a little confused. But then I was like, whatever the case may be. So anyways, we go up, we get to, she's showing her something else, and then we get to her apartment. We go to leave, and S goes to get into her car. The other person hugs her. So she gets in the car. She didn't see what happened. So then I go to hug that person. And yes, I did. Because then we were pulling away because it's giving me anxiety even talking about this. So then we were pulling away from hugging because we had to leave. Then I pull her back because, yes, I did want to hug her again, whatever the case may be. So as she pulls away from me, from hugging me, she grabbed my... And at that point, I was just so confused because of some previous messages. And I'm not even going to go into those messages. So, and then I didn't know how to react because I was like, for me, my reaction, because it happened so fast, was to crack a joke. So then when I got into the car, mind you, after that happened, I got into the car and I was so upset and confused and uncomfortable about the whole situation because I was just trying to process what happened due to some previous messages that I'm not going to talk about because it's personal stuff. Or no, I said, you know what you're doing, ha ha ha. And I laughed because that was my only reaction, was to crack a joke as I was leaving. Because I'm like, then I get into the car, I'm all confused. I'm trying not to cry or make some sort of reaction for S to see, because S would have literally been, S knows the whole situation. It's a whole situation. And then I thought, oh, also the reason why I didn't say anything is because I'm like, oh, she loves me. Oh, I was blinded. You let someone continue to hurt you because you're blinded. Like, I know what I'm talking about when I say that I'm in love with women or like genders. I don't lie about that stuff. I didn't fake nothing. I didn't pretend anything, even when I got constantly questioned. To me, it was weird being constantly questioned, like, do you really like women? No, this isn't Studu, this is someone else. Studu, okay, you have me saying Studu. Let me take that back. I don't like referring to her as Studu. I just wanted to know lingo, because you lingo. So I was trying to learn the lingo on TikTok, and I happenstance to come upon the lesbian hand gesture. So the hand gesture is when your said partner of the same sex, which is obviously a girl, holds their hand behind them for you to hold it. You know, that happened. So then once we get to the apartment, okay, so we leave, right? Anyways, long story short, I was talking about when I got, we go to leave, right? And S, which is, I don't like to refer to her as Studu, so I'm gonna call her S. My other friend, right? They hug, and then she gets in the car. So then I go to hug my friend to leave, because obviously we're leaving, and I'm like, you know, as we were pulling away, I just pulled her back, because yes, I wanted to hug her again. And then I walked away, she walked away, and then I get into the car, and at that point, and my brain was like all over, like, I was just thinking, like, it was everywhere. Like, I was trying to process that, and I was trying not to be upset in front of S, because S, I feel like she would have been like, I think she was getting, not tired, I assumed she was getting tired of me constantly talking about the situation. So I didn't want to say anything to her when I got into the car. I just stayed silent. Mind you, she was already in the car, getting the car started, get ready for us to leave.
So if you was confused by that, you wouldn't be the only one. Tophiachu has gave like 2 or 3 situations on the event, and yes, they're like relatively the same, but you know, she's mixing things up a little bit, so people are kind of calling her out on that, like, Toph, I don't really know if what you said is legitimate. And Toph is such an unreliable narrator in general that it's really hard to believe what she's saying. And then she says something incredibly confusing in all of that. She says she believes that Studu was tired. Oh, and I gotta say, it's super funny that Tophiachu's like, I don't want to call her Studu, but I'm gonna say it more than most people in a sentence. Like, she said it so many times, and then would be like, I don't want to call her that. But dang it, you guys always say it, and now you got me saying it. I wonder if she calls her Studu in real life. That's probably why the relationship turned sour. But back to what I was saying. So she says that Studu was tired of Tophiachu talking about the situation. But after it happened, she said she didn't speak to her about it. So was Studu tired of Tophiachu bragging about her new girlfriend and talking nonstop about her? I mean, that would make a little bit of sense if they had some romantic things going on in the past. And Tophiachu's already implying that Studu might not be too happy with her about this situation. And let's not even mention the double hug, because that doesn't help things out, and like that raises my suspicion of why it might be a Graze and less of a White Bowser like situation. Then when she went back into the car, that maybe Studu was a little bit jealous, and Tophiachu just didn't quite know how to handle that and might have said something stupid.
And then I'm gonna get a nasty message telling me how I didn't do that, or I don't really even care. It's not even about making someone look bad.
A few moments later.
When I tell somebody I love them, I don't lie, I mean it. I don't play games. I don't sit here, and there are so many games people could play. There's Monopoly, there's Clue, Chutes and Ladders. Hey, heck, there's even Solitaire. There's Uno. If I want to play games, I'll go play those. I won't play games with people. Then I did crack a joke. Then I did act like nothing was wrong. Did I go back and hang out? Yes, because I was stupid. What? You're gonna make fun of me because I was in love and I was stupid? Because I never had someone that I cared about that deeply that actually cared about me back and that actually liked me back like that. So maybe I was stupid. Ooh. Hello? So what? They don't want to be seen. They don't want to be on camera. And I knew that was going to be an issue. My thought when I said I was going to deactivate my page, I was hurting because of the situation. But I told myself if this worked out, I was just going to leave my social media because I was like, if this is going to work out, then I can't have my social media. So yes, I was going to delete it. Not because I wanted to, but because to even have something happen, social media had to go. To be honest, I didn't have any. I had some people that I could talk to, not really girls that were my friends that I could talk to about this problem and talk about what to do, because to be honest, expressing your feelings to someone, it was kind of a little scary, and it wasn't because of a lot that has happened. And since last year, it was a lot of confusing things.
Yeah, really just not helping her case out whatsoever. Starting off by saying, like, look, I don't care. It's not about hurting people. I just want to put myself out there. I want to tell my truth. And then follow it up by, listen, you don't ever spite me. I am the big Toph. I am the ultimate Chew of the crew. You don't play games with my heart. Break my heart. Who knows what could happen? And it's like, it's just not a good look, Tophiachu. You are literally fighting the criticism that people don't believe you, and then you say some crazy things like that. It makes people believe you're being spiteful. And you're even saying already, like, look guys, I'm a big public figure, so I'm just going to let you know now that there's probably going to be some messages leak here or there that, you know, says I didn't do this thing, and I'm surprised it already hasn't happened. And Tophiachu's hiding messages herself. She's saying she can't show them, they're too personal, but it would probably help her situation out a little bit. But that's just not Tophiachu's character. She's not in the business of helping herself out. She literally brings up her original stalking allegation, which only had more proof being brought to it because she now came out as bisexual, and literally the only reason people were like, you know, she probably didn't do that is because Tophiachu was claiming that she was straight at the time. I mean, that was literally it. But for some reason, while she's in the middle of this drama, she's gonna drag this back up. But now if you think about it, there's more proof than ever that she was following this girl around, was like making her uncomfortable, and then she had to get her security guards for her apartment to kick her out, make her go away. Like, there's more proof about it now than ever.
Because I enjoyed being around her. That was a thing that hurts, because I always loved spending time, even when she would say, oh, it's boring, there's nothing to do. Well, technically, it's not boring if you're with someone you care about, right? It wasn't boring around her. That's why I wanted to be there all the time. And I don't have all the answers, even though I think, oh, I can't just jump the gun and say something that I'm not 100% sure. But when people come online and make it seem like I'm this crazy stalker, I was this and I was that. No, it was mixed signals. It was a lot of being led on since last year. And I would get hurt. She would leave. She would come back and start talking to me again. And after the Jonas Brothers concert, something happened and you weren't talking. And that hurt. And then when she came back, I was like, and then the last time, right before this time recently, and then she came back and I was like, it just hurts. And when people say things that are so not true and spreading misinformation, and to be honest, it was a whole bunch of things. And for me, I told myself, social media has to go. If this is really going to work out and this really happens, I was going to leave social media because I cared that much. I get it. I don't like to be followed around. I have to dress and look a certain way, emotionally attached. And it had nothing to do with I was not rejected. And yes, be shocked by the 20-year age gap. Hey, what are you gonna do? How do you know she's white? She could have been black. I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna say anything. Who cares? So what? Who cares? I'm a consenting adult. I'm 32. I was 31. There was a lot of stuff that was happening at the other shelter. To be honest, they tried to say that I was filming. There was some things which I don't know if this person is watching or not. I'm not saying anything bad, but one of the workers, it was a whole thing with one of the workers. And basically she knew me from social media, and then some stuff started happening, and basically it was a whole thing. And to be honest, in the situation, yes, the person that I liked was involved. I don't know, she was interested. She wanted her. And the thing was is that it pushed everyone away. And then I had nobody. My friends were gone. They left. And so what happened is that that lady, which I know, came to me after the whole situation and said, if you need anyone to talk to, I'm here. That's basically what she said. If you need anyone to talk to, because about my whole situation of losing my brother, which she knew, well, because she knew me from social media, they said I had to be evaluated in order to come back. I didn't come back. I didn't go back because I didn't want to have to deal with that. You don't know what it's like. Luckily, I had them take me to a motel room that I paid for a couple of nights because I didn't have a place. I'm going to report your account and force you to face reality. How about that? If you don't like me, and I'll help block you. You can report this live all you want. That's not going to stop me from anything. You're not stopping me. I'm not even crying.
So not only does Tophiachu reveal that the girl she's making the claim about is actually the same girl who she was stalking originally, or there's allegations of Tophiachu stalking her, which is absolutely mind-blowing if you think about it, that this girl has been in and out of Tophiachu's life, and Tophiachu is still going back to her, and they even hung out with each other after the event happened, or Tophiachu's claim, I should put it. It really feels like Tophiachu is head over heels in love with this girl. She can't stop. Her and Studu was just a minor fling. I think a lot of us at the time assumed that Studu was the second girl. That's the way it seemed, and honestly, that's the way it's looking now. It seems she was trying to get with the girl, and around the time of the Jonas Brother concert, the girl was accusing her of stalking, wanted her to leave her alone. Tophiachu distanced herself, stopped talking about social media, which is exactly why she was thinking of quitting it. But as she mentioned earlier, she is never going to leave social media, so that girl better get over it, which is also potentially why that girl is not with Tophiachu right now, and she's so upset. And it makes even more sense why she doesn't want to tell Studu her second option. Remember, she'll always start off by saying her problems are about Brother Chu or Mama Chu, but it's always about her girl problems at the moment. Like, the reason she was kicked out of the shelter, there were some questions of why it happened originally, and well, we really knew it was because of the live streaming, but we didn't know to what extent. Apparently, there was somebody in there who was trying to help Tophiachu out. She's like, hey, if you have some problems, you want to come talk to me, I'm available, but you should probably stop live streaming in here. And to Tophiachu, that's blasphemy. You don't say that to her. Now you're public enemy number one, and she hates your guts. She wasn't forced out of that place. It was her own will. They said, you must stop that. You must start going to psych evaluations because we're worried about you. We're trying to help you. So what did Tophiachu do? She ran away from Mama Chu. She avoided her completely. I mean, I think this was around the time of the Jonas Brother concert, so she was probably talking to the girl already. So she's like, hey, look, I might end up with her. I'm just going to go do my own thing. I don't need Mama Chu in my life anymore, and just straight up abandoned her. The only time you ever see Toph of Mama Chu anymore is when she has her food stamp card and when they're going out to buy Toph stuff. Never any other time. She doesn't care about her. She left her willingly. She had every option to stay there. She could have, by all means. Well, I guess it would have been rough because that lady knew about her social media. That's also her fault. You know, she was the one live streaming in the joint. So the lady would have saw it eventually, but I think it would have been a really good opportunity to fix Tophiachu's life. But because of her ego, she just denied it, raged out, and abandoned her mom.
I didn't get fired on my day off. I was at work when I got fired, and I didn't even get fired. I was put on a 2-week suspension over a piece of cheese. I didn't get fired on my day off. I was at work making sandwiches. I was a sandwich maker at Dunkin' Donuts, and I always got a lot of tips because I was really good at what I did, and my regulars would tip me, something you probably wouldn't know about, because I have good customer service, and also because I was just good. I didn't get fired on my day off. I was at work when I was asked to leave work because I got suspended. The manager had to come and sign that piece of paper that the manager has to sign when you get suspended. I had to stand there and watch him sign it. And then I kept calling to see if I had my job. She didn't even tell me when I had to come back to work or if I had my job. So I stopped calling because it was always, oh, she's at the other one, because she managed both Dunkin' Donuts. There was 2 Dunkin' Donuts she was managing. And every time I called, it was like, oh, she's at the other one. She's not here. You literally have employees lying for you. I do not want to work for someone that is unprofessional, nor do I want to beg someone for a job. I am not going to beg someone for a measly $200. You want me to beg for not even a living wage? Well, that's what she told me, and to be honest, it was my first job. So I don't know if she wasn't giving me full-time, she was giving me part-time, and mind you, I only made $200. So I gave $100 to my dad, and then I kept $100. But I also had to pay for my phone bill, so I took $50 out of that, and I only had $50 left for spending money. So you're not understanding, $200 is not enough to live. I'm not going to go work a job to be told that I have to make 3 times the rent. Then I'm never going to get a place, because they're not going to accept the fact that I'm making $200. What place do you know that you can rent for $200? And then get a car, put gas in it with car insurance. What are you even talking about? I don't only make $11 online. Did you know that when TikTok live subscriptions, when I was living in the car, I made $3,000 in January. I made a whole paycheck in 1 month. I made someone's two months of paychecks in a whole month. Probably even 3 months of work in a month. Literally, I made $3,000 in January. That's, how do you think I went to Comic-Con and took my brother to Comic-Con? Mind you, we were looking for an RV. I was going to buy an RV, but they wanted a lot of money. People wanted $15,000. Some people wanted $10,000. There was some RVs that we found, but they were scams. They were cheap, but they were scams. But that money went because car parts are not cheap. Car parts are not cheap. So I went with a budget. I had a budget in mind. So I said, this is how much I'm going to spend. So I planned out, because it tells you how much celebrity autographs are. So I said, these are the autographs we're getting. This is all I'm spending at Comic-Con, because I told my family we need to save for an RV. And I planned it out, and I said, this is how much we'll have for an RV. I made $3,000. So at the time when we went to Comic-Con, yes, there was one signature that I was planning on not getting. Only one. It was an unplanned signature because my brother wanted to get it for one of his friends. So I was like, yeah, sure, whatever. I think 1 or 2. There might have been 2 signatures that were unplanned. I know how to manage money. You don't know how to manage money. And if it wasn't for my money management skills, we wouldn't have had a running car. The car that we had didn't run because it needed a transmission.
So Toph, you're telling us it wasn't just a hygiene issue? You know that's even more pathetic, right? That it was a combination of the hygiene issue and the fact you just refused to call your manager and check in. I remember being 16 and working at a Dairy Queen that was so poorly ran that they would put up schedules on the daily. That meant we all had to call at some point during the day and ask, do we work? Yeah, sometimes things are hectic and you pulled a Nova, literally. This is how he got fired from a job before, because he just refused to check in with the manager and actually see if he was still employed. So of course, if you're not checking in after you're suspended, then you're probably just fired. But I will say, now that she mentions that she got fired over a piece of cheese and that they came to get her while she was making a sandwich to write her up to suspend her, I suspect that's why she says it. She was putting on a piece of cheese on a bagel or something, and then all of a sudden the person comes up like, Tophiachu, we need to talk to you. Fires are on the spot. Well, I guess suspends are on the spot. She's like, over a piece of cheese? This is ridiculous. Like Tophiachu always tells on herself, it's only a matter of time and when she's freaking out on live stream. Like her talking about making $3,000 in 1 month. You do know that's terrible, right, Tophiachu? That's not a brag. You should have been in an apartment. Like you didn't want to put your name on it because you was scared that people would get you kicked out. No, you would have got yourself kicked kicked out. As we've mentioned plenty of times before, if Tophiachu would have had like a very clean apartment and she was nice to the managers and everyone around her, they were nothing but good people, it wouldn't matter about the calls. They would be the crazy people, the ones that were calling if Tophiachu was a good, nice customer, a nice person to be around. But nope, every time someone makes a call and they go into the apartment, there's literally trash everywhere and garbage, dog pee pads that are filled to the brim. It's disgusting in there, so they have a reason to kick you out. But to tell us you had enough funds to get you a place, and then we know about the uncle thing, but still yet, you probably could have got it done, but you chose to go to a Comic-Con. But I guess that's enough for me today, guys. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to drop a like, subscribe, follow all the socials down below, use the new hype feature, leave a comment as well, and I'll catch you guys next time.